Good morning, everyone. My name is Greg Jenkins, and welcome to our chat with Greg and Nirupa. This is about diversity, equity, inclusion, and how it is good for business. Welcome, everybody. And hi, Nirupa. Good to see you.
Hi, Greg. Great to be with you today.
So, Nirupa, would you like to kick off and tell our friends and listeners a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. So I'm an attorney. I've been an attorney for 24 plus years now, and I've been a longtime champion of diversity, equity, and inclusion. So I founded my own company, Lotus Solutions, LLC, where I do DEI consulting. And Greg, you and I actually have such an interesting story of how we met. We are both members of the Inclusion Allies Coalition, or IAC, which is a group of folks and organizations like us who are committed to DEI. And Greg, you and I actually met through the IAC social media postings.
Yeah, we sure did, Nirupa. And I'll tell you, I really appreciate the IAC, the Inclusion Allies Coalition, for the reasons that you've just mentioned. So if we've got friends and listeners out there that are also in the diversity, equity, inclusion space, or are interested in the DEI space, the IAC can be a really good resource for you to consider and visit. We encourage you to do that. Well, thank you for your introduction and sharing a little bit about your background. I'd like to share a little bit about mine. So I have been a diversity, equity, and inclusion consultant for over 17 years. But before that, I was in the United States Army for over 28 years. And there's some overlap there. I did kind of both. I was a DEI consultant while in the military as well. And what I mean by that is when I was coming out of Iraq in 2004, I was going to get ready to retire. And the Army said, no, not quite yet. We want you to go take up a leadership position in this space. And I really was resistant to that because I'm an older white straight male. And I thought that DEI was really for women and minorities. And that's what I thought then. But then when I went through the process of becoming a leader in the space for the Army, it was a real life-changing event for me. It really taught me more about myself and others, and it helped me become a better leader, to be quite honest with you. The 17 years I referred to, that's the length of time I've been doing this work. I formed Greg Jenkins Consulting LLC, and I've been doing that work ever since. And I think, Nirupa, with our experience about DEI in business, there's some clear advantages here. Would you like to share a couple of them?
Absolutely, Greg. The business case for DEI is clear. It leads to increased profits, greater revenue, reduced employee turnover, and improved employee morale. And it's important that this diversity and equity and inclusion, it's important that that be in the leadership, and that includes the board of directors. What do you think, Greg?
I agree with you completely. And, really what we're focusing on here is people, right? Human beings. And I think for us to begin a conversation about diversity means we have to have an understanding about the value of people. And, there's an ancient Chinese saying that says, people at birth are inherently good and deserve respect and dignity. And I think that's a good place to start from, thinking about people deserve respect and dignity. And when we're thinking about that, when we're looking at individuals, we're also thinking about, well, how can diversity and inclusion help in my development as a leader in business? How can it help my ability as a team builder in business? And I can tell you from my own experience that having been resistant to DEI initially, but then learning about its value, it has helped me become a better leader and team builder as well. And now I and Nirupa do our individual work with organizations, helping them build better leaders and better inclusive environments as well. And so on that note, Nirupa, maybe would you like to share maybe a couple of steps, 2 or 3 steps that our listeners and friends might be interested as actions to take?
Absolutely. That makes me think of step 1 should be the next time you're in a meeting, whether that's virtual or in person, be aware of who is sitting at that table.
That's a very good point. And I think while you're looking around, how many differences can you identify? And differences can be your definition. So look around in that Zoom meeting that you're in, or that actual physical room that you're in. can you just slow down a little bit and very carefully take a look at the folks that are around you?
Exactly. And step two makes me think that as you're assessing who's at that table, recognize that these folks are well qualified and
Mhm.
capable of performing their job duties, which is why you hired them.
Exactly. And we should acknowledge that. The thing that we also encourage you to think about, though, is also if you're looking at those folks and they're qualified and they deserve to be there, there's no question about that. But are they very similar to you? And if they would be, that would not be necessarily out of the ordinary, because there's a couple of aspects of our beings, of our ways of thinking. And I'm referring to homophily, and or another way to say that is affiliation bias. It is very natural for us to be drawn to people very much like us. That's a natural tendency. And the people that you have surrounded yourself with, like Nirupa said, are qualified, they're good, they're there for a good reason. Nothing wrong with those folks. What we're suggesting for you to think as an action step is, who can I bring in also? How many other perspectives can I get in those inner circles that I have surrounded myself with as a leader, as a team builder, as a business leader?
Great. Well, Greg, it was really great chatting with you today on the importance of DEI and leadership. I look forward to talking again soon.
Thanks, Nirupa. Good chatting with you today. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.